letter of belief?
B.
B. What is the first letter of system?
S.
Put them together?
Yes.
BS! So now Sherry's going to help bust the BS by giving us another tool about belief systems.
You know, there is a tremendous difference. How many of you, when you were kids, somebody said something to you and it didn't resonate and you couldn't do anything about it? When someone says, I wonder what the neighbors are thinking, so you better be good. Did you know you were the neighbors that the neighbors were thinking? What were you thinking? Or those belief systems that stuck in you that prevented you from being you. Does that make sense? It has to. And some of the things that people said to me didn't make sense. So this is believing versus belief system. Years ago, I just had this desire to fly airplanes. I just would like to fly airplanes. So I'm telling my mother and my sister, who's a lot older than me, about flying. Guess what they said? Girls don't want to have fun. They can't fly. That's for guys. You can't do that. So guess what I did? I learned to fly. And then I bought an airplane. And someone said, you bought an airplane? How did you buy an airplane? Well, I took this amount of money, went down to the airplane showroom. They gave me this little ticket book and I paid a payment every month. What is the difference than buying an airplane than a car or a house or anything? But I believed in myself. But what if I hadn't believed in myself? I actually ended up producing air shows. I hung around with the military. I got to go to Washington. I got to speak at the Pentagon. I got to create a women in aviation room for a military museum, and I was never in the military. And I had the best time. And I'll tell you what, the generals know what they're doing. And they can make it happen. But you have to believe. But what would I have missed if I didn't do that? What would I have missed? I would have bought into someone else's belief system. And believe me, I did many times, as we all have. But we can't change the past. It's impossible. But we can change the possibility of the future, because the past is 1 second from now, and the future, the past is 1 second, got it? But the future is 1 second from now. And that is changeable, and it's mutable, and it's exciting. So this is what happens. When these get embedded, they're actually embedded in your body. And so if something triggers you outside of you, you go back to that incident when somebody that you thought was an authority figure said something to you. And that's what happened. So the question is, do your belief systems serve you? So just kind of take a moment and reflect. What are some, without saying it out loud, but what are some of the belief systems inside of you that said you couldn't do something? They're there, aren't they? And they come up pretty quick. But when you carry resentment, that makes you sick. That lowers your frequency and vibration. It lowers your resonance. So if you hang on to any of that stuff, wow, I love this. Oh, do they prevent you from believing in yourself? Do they? So you must be very clear of the difference between belief systems and believing in yourself. So what's fear? What is fear? Fear. What is fear? Anybody have an idea? Can yell out from the audience. What is fear?
False expectations.
It is not false evidence appearing real unless you're going to be on one of my favorite programs, that they, when the cop shows and the profilers and they're looking, unless you're going to frame somebody for murder or something that is not the truth. False evidence appearing real is That's all fear is lack of information. That is all it is lack of information. That's what stops you. So so if someone says to me, Sherry, would you like to do this? Can you do it? I don't have all the information. So I'm not gonna say no, and I'm not gonna say yes until I have all the information. Because when you have all the information, you make a choice. And you can even choose to change the choice. But what happens if you make a decision? Aren't you stuck? Remember this belief system? Well, that's just the way it is. It's always been that way. And my mother used to say that. And I go, but we have a car outside. We don't have a horse and buggy. We don't have an ox and a cart. And how many of you have been brought up that it's just the way it is? It'll always be that way. Have you noticed what's happening outside? We actually have a president, I'm not for or against, that's not a politician. Whoops. We also have people that are this or they're that because they're hanging on instead of growing. So I actually had a gal who had a belief system that she never changed. I never changed. I've always been this way. And she's a very powerful, dynamic corporate woman. And I said, really? You've never changed? And she said, never. And I said, really? Well, I'm more impressed with your mother's vajayjay because if you came out with that hairstyle, suit, and high heels, your mother rocks. And she said, whoops. So we're somewhere between diapers and depends, and underwear do you not think you've changed? So change is growth on how you embrace it. If you embrace the change, you can see it as opportunities instead of making you wrong. So that's part of the embedded belief systems, is that I'm right or I'm wrong. Let that go. Is it correct for you? Flying was correct for me at the time, not for my sister. So it's lack of information. Again, it is not false evidence appearing real because it's not real. So the other caveat of this is you can't get your answers from a computer brain. It's impossible because how many times have you said, I really would like to do this? And this voice in the back of your head said, don't do it. That voice. But this is the question to ask yourself. Is it your voice? Or is it somebody else's voice telling you that this is what you're supposed to do, you should do, you could do, or you would have done it? If you would have done it, you would have done it. But that's over. So fear is lack of information. It is not false evidence appearing real. And when you have the facts, you can be real. What do they have on TV now? Reality shows, are they real? They're not. They're planned, they're scripted, they're cut, they're edited. So would you rather have realness in your life or a reality brought to you by some director, producer, writer? That isn't you. That is not you. So the difference between real and reality is your life. That's the difference. And you're the one that makes it. Make it real.